While introducing me at her birthday dinner, she smirked and said, "Don't get any ideas. You're just temporary." Everyone chuckled awkwardly. I stood up, paid my share, and said, "Guess the temporary part just ended," and left. She called an hour later crying. I never answered. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I should have known something was wrong the first time I met her friends. 3 months in, Vanessa finally invited me to meet her core group. Cocktail bar in Tribeca, bottle service, the kind of place where the drinks cost more than my weekly grocery budget. I showed up in my best blazer. Nice, clean, off the rack from Nordstrom. Everyone else looked like they'd stepped out of a magazine spread. Connor, Brittany's husband, was the first to ask. "So Nathan, what do you do?" "Architecture," I said. Polite nods around the table. "Which firm?" Connor leaned forward, fingers drumming on his Rolex. I named it. Mid-sized, respected in the industry, doing good work. "Oh." His smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "I thought you meant one of the big ones." The conversation moved on. I felt like I'd failed a test I didn't know I was taking. In the Uber home, Vanessa was quiet. "You were quiet tonight," she finally said. I felt like I was being interviewed for a position I didn't apply for. She shifted in her seat. "What does that mean?" "Your friends spent the whole night trying to figure out if I was worth your time based on my resume. They're just protective. They've seen me date guys who what? Had the right credentials. That's not fair." I turned to look at her. "Do you care about any of that stuff?" "No. Of course not." She took my hand. "I like you for you." "Good. Because that's all I've got to offer." She leaned in and kissed me. "That's all I want." But she was lying. To me, to herself, to both of us. The signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. Month 4, my firm won a small but prestigious design award. I was excited. It was recognition that actually mattered in my field. Vanessa posted about it once on her Instagram story, vague and brief, didn't tag me. When I asked why, she said, "I don't like mixing personal and professional online." Month 5, we ran into her ex-boyfriend Preston at a charity gala. He was everything you'd expect. Finance background, Patek Philippe watch, stories about his place in the Hamptons. Vanessa lit up talking to him in a way I hadn't seen in weeks. On the drive home, she went quiet. "What?" I asked. "Nothing," she said, staring out the window. But something had shifted. Month 6, my parents visited the city. I'd been wanting Vanessa to meet them properly. She agreed, but seemed uncomfortable the whole time. My dad talked about his years working at the machine shop. My mom talked about their small apartment in Queens. Vanessa smiled politely and checked her phone every few minutes. Later, she called them sweet, in a tone that made it sound like an insult. By month 7, she was mentioning Preston constantly. "Preston took me to this restaurant. Preston knew the owner of that gallery." I noticed. I'm not insecure, but I'm not blind either. Then came her birthday. 2 weeks before the dinner, Vanessa announced she was doing something big. I'd assumed it would be intimate, close friends, maybe her parents on a separate night. She sent me the guest list. 16 people. Most I'd never met. Maria, I looked at the restaurant reservation. That's like $300 a person. It's my birthday. I only turned 28 once. I'm not saying don't celebrate. I'm saying maybe somewhere more reasonable. I'd love to take you somewhere special, just the two of us. God, you sound like my dad trying to teach me about budgets. Nessa, everyone pays for themselves anyway. You can afford one nice dinner, can't you? It's not about affording it. Then what's it about? I hesitated. It's about you wanting to perform for people instead of just being. Her expression went cold. Not everyone is satisfied with just being, Nathan. Some of us have standards. That hurt. She knew it. She didn't apologize. The week before her birthday, I finished my gift. I'd been working on it for weeks, a custom architectural drawing of the building where we first met. That gallery opening where we talked for 3 hours straight, where she told me I was the most interesting person she'd met in years. I showed it to my sister Sophie. "It's gorgeous," she said, running her finger along the frame. "She better appreciate this." "She will." Sophie looked at me for a long moment. "Nate, can I ask you something? Are you happy?" "What kind of question is that?" "A real one. Because from the outside, it looks like you're trying really hard to make someone happy who doesn't try back. You don't know her like I do." "Maybe. Or maybe I see her clearer because I'm not in love with her." I didn't have an answer for that. The night of the dinner, I arrived at Maria in my best suit. The restaurant was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows, ocean murals, the kind of place designed to impress. Vanessa's friends were already there, champagne flowing freely. She was in a designer dress I'd never seen. Definitely new. Definitely expensive. She kissed my cheek, not my lips, and took my wrapped gift without really looking at it. "Oh, you can just put that on the gift table." There was a literal gift table. Designer shopping bags, Tiffany boxes, Cartier ribbons. My simple wrapped frame looked pathetic next to them. The seating arrangement told me everything I needed to know. Long table, Vanessa at the head, me near the far end. Between Greg, Madison's drunk husband, and an empty chair. Vanessa was surrounded by Brittany, Connor, and people I'd never met. I'd been placed at the kids' table. The first hour was death by 1,000 cuts. Greg turned to me once. "So, architect. That's cool. Like, you design houses." "Commercial buildings, mostly. We just finished a, yeah, cool." He was already looking away. From down the table, Madison's voice carried. "Vanessa, remember when Preston took you to Cipriani for your birthday? That was so romantic." Vanessa laughed. Didn't correct her. Didn't mention me. "God, I miss Preston," Brittany said. "He was so fun." "He was also a narcissist," Vanessa replied. "But a rich narcissist." Everyone laughed. I felt my jaw tighten. Connor eventually addressed me. "So Nathan, what do you drive?" The question was a trap. Everyone at the table knew it. Honda Accord. Reliable. Greg clapped me on the shoulder. "Can't go wrong with Honda." The condescension dripped from every word. "I just got the new Porsche Taycan," Connor said. "Electric. $180,000. Why would anyone say that? Because they could. Because I couldn't. Vanessa was on her 4th glass of champagne when Preston walked in. "Preston." She practically shouted his name. She got up, hugged him too long. He made the rounds, gave me a "good to see you, man," without actually seeing me, and took the empty seat next to Vanessa. I watched them talk. She was animated, touching his arm, laughing too loud. She hadn't looked at me in over an hour. Dessert was being served when Brittany stood up with her glass. Okay, speech time." Everyone groaned good-naturedly. "I just want to say happy birthday to my best friend, who is gorgeous, successful, and way too good for most of the men in this city." Laughter rippled around the table. "But she did bring a date tonight, so let's meet him properly. Nessa, introduce your boyfriend? Is that what we're calling him?" Vanessa stood up, unsteady on her heels, glass in hand. Okay. Yes. Everyone, this is Nathan." She gestured vaguely in my direction. A few people waved. "Nathan is, well, he's my boyfriend." She made air quotes. People laughed. I went very still. "But seriously, Nate." She was looking at me now, smirking. "Don't get any ideas. You're just temporary." The table went quiet. Not silent, but uncomfortable. "Vanessa," Madison started. "What? I'm being honest. That's healthy, right? Communication." She looked at Preston. "I mean, come on. Look at him. He's sweet. He's fine. But he's not exactly." She gestured at Preston, at Connor. "You know, he's not the end game." Brittany tried to laugh it off. "Oh my God, Nessa, you're terrible." "He's like a palate cleanser," Vanessa continued, gaining momentum. "You know when you eat sorbet between courses? That's Nathan. He's the sorbet between the real meals." A few people laughed nervously. Ethan, the one gay friend in her group, looked horrified. Preston was smirking. My face was stone. "What did you call it, Britt? A bridge boyfriend?" That was a joke." "Well, it's true. He's a bridge." From Preston to whoever's next. She laughed. "God, that sounds mean. But it's not mean if it's true, right, Nate?" She was looking right at me, expecting me to laugh along. "Is that what you think I am?" My voice was quiet. "Oh, don't be sensitive. You knew what this was." "No, I really didn't. Come on, be honest. Did you really think we were going to get married? You're an architect who drives a Honda. She gestured at herself, at the opulent table. It was fun, but let's be realistic." Dead silence. Preston smirked. Harshness. "I'm just being honest for once. Everyone else is too polite to say it, but we're all thinking it." Ethan put down his fork. "Vanessa, stop." "What?" "He's a grown man. He can handle the truth." She turned back to me. "Right, Nate? You can handle it." I stood up. Calm. Controlled. Every eye at the table turned to me. I pulled out my wallet and counted exact cash, my meal, my drinks, generous tip. Placed it on the table in front of my plate. You're right about one thing, I said. What's that? I can handle the truth. Nate, sit down. You're making a scene. You just called me a palate cleanser in front of 16 people. The scene's already been made. Her face shifted. Nervous now. I was joking. God, can't you take a joke? Were you joking when you said I'm not the endgame? Or when you said I'm temporary? Or when you wondered out loud if anyone at this table actually thought we'd get married? She had no answer. I looked around the table. Did that sound like a joke to any of you? Silence. Ethan shook his head slightly. Preston was still smirking. Here's the thing, Vanessa. I kept my voice level. You're absolutely right. I'm not your endgame. Because you don't get to decide my endgame anymore. I do. Nathan, wait. She stood up, panicking. I've spent 8 months trying to be good enough for someone who just announced to everyone here that I never was and never would be. I didn't say that, yes. You did. You just didn't expect me to hear it like that. You expected me to sit here and take it because I'm just temporary and temporary things don't get a say. You're overreacting. I walked to the gift table and picked up my wrapped frame. I made you something. Spent weeks on it. But you know what? You don't deserve it. Nathan, please. I looked at her one more time. She was crying now, mascara running. Guess the temporary part just ended. I turned to the table. Enjoy your dinner. I walked out. Didn't rush. Didn't slam anything. Just left. I sat in my car in the parking garage for 20 minutes. Hands on the steering wheel, breathing. I wasn't crying. Wasn't angry. Just clear. I unwrapped the gift I'd made her. The architectural drawing really was beautiful. Detailed, professional, hours of work. I'd keep it for myself. I drove to Marcus's apartment. My best friend took one look at my face and said, "What happened?" I told him everything. Word for word. "Jesus Christ," he said when I finished. "Yeah. So what are you going to do?" "Nothing. Nothing. What's there to do?" She said what she thinks. I left. "It's done." Marcus leaned back on his couch. "She's going to call." "Probably." "Are you going to answer?" "No. Not even to hear her out." "Marcus, she called me a palate cleanser. In front of her ex-boyfriend. In front of people I've spent 8 months trying to impress for her sake. What's there to hear out? An apology? An apology for what? For saying what she actually thinks? She did me a favor. She was honest for the first time in our relationship. You're really done. I'm really done. He studied me. You okay? I thought about it. You know what? Yeah, I actually am. I feel lighter. At 10:47 p.m., my phone started ringing. Vanessa. I let it go to voicemail. Marcus watched me. You're really not going to answer? No. She called again at 10:52. Voicemail again. This time she left a message. Nate, hi, it's me. I think maybe we should talk? I was drinking, and I said some things that came out wrong. You know how I get when I drink. It was supposed to be funny. Everyone was laughing. I was just, I don't know, playing to the crowd? Can you call me back? Please. I deleted it without finishing. She called again at 11:47. Nathan, please. I'm sorry, okay? I'm really sorry. I didn't mean you were temporary. I don't know what I meant. I was drunk and stupid and trying to impress people who don't even matter. You matter. You've always mattered. Please just call me back. Let me explain. I can fix this. Then the text started. Are you awake? I know you're seeing these. Can we please talk? I'm sorry, call me, all delivered. None read. I turned my phone face down on Marcus's coffee table. I'm going to sleep, I said. Thanks for letting me crash. Stay as long as you need. I woke up Saturday morning having slept better than I had in months. 23 messages from Vanessa. 6 missed calls. I didn't read them. Didn't listen to the voicemails. Marcus made coffee. What's the plan? Go to my place. Get some things. Stay here a few more days if that's cool. Stay as long as you want. But won't she show up there? Probably. I'll go when she's not around. By Sunday, Vanessa's texts had shifted. You're really going to ignore me over a joke? This is childish. We need to talk like adults. Then my sister called. Did Vanessa just call you? I asked. Yeah. I told her to lose my number. What did she say? That you're overreacting. That it was a misunderstanding. I told her exactly what I thought of someone who calls my brother a palate cleanser at a public dinner. Sophie's voice was sharp. She actually tried to defend herself. Said she was drunk. Drunk words are sober thoughts. That's what I told her. Sophie paused. Are you okay? Really? Yeah, I really am. Good. Because you deserve someone who's proud to be with you, not someone who treats you like a dirty secret until she can upgrade. Over the next week, Vanessa tried everything. Apologetic texts, angry texts, emotional manipulation. She showed up at my apartment. I wasn't there. She called my office. The receptionist took a message. I didn't return it. She sent flowers to my work. I had them donated to the hospital. On day 6, an email arrived. Subject: please read this. I read it twice. It said everything I might have needed to hear 8 months ago. Admission of her insecurity, her need for approval, how I'd made her feel like she could be different, but she'd been too scared. You were never temporary to me. I was just too much of a coward to admit that you were exactly what I needed. I felt nothing. Marcus found me staring at my laptop. What did it say? Everything I needed to hear 8 months ago? Nothing I need now. I deleted it. The consequences for Vanessa came faster than I expected. Ethan stopped answering her calls. He'd witnessed the dinner, been disgusted by it. Madison grew distant. Her husband Greg had apparently told her the dinner was brutal, and he'd lost respect for Vanessa. Even Brittany, her best friend, said, "That was really harsh, babe. Like, really harsh." Connor, Brittany's husband, actually ran into me at a work event 2 weeks later. "Hey man," he said, pulling me aside. "Just wanted to say what she did was fucked up. Some of us saw that." I appreciated it more than I expected to. Vanessa, desperate and lonely, reached out to Preston. They met for drinks. He made a move. She let him. She woke up the next morning to an empty bed and a text. "Fun catching up. Let's do it again sometime." She told me this later, much later. She said that's when she understood. She'd made me feel exactly how Preston made her feel. Used. Temporary. Convenient. I didn't stay at Marcus's forever. After 2 weeks, I went back to my apartment. Back to my life. Work gave me a major project, a museum renovation. I threw myself into it. I went to the gym regularly, something Vanessa had always discouraged. "Too much time away from me," she'd say. I had dinner with my parents. They knew what happened. My dad put his hand on my shoulder and said, "A man who knows his worth doesn't beg to be valued." I took the architectural drawing I'd made for Vanessa and redid it. Not the building where we met, but my parents' first apartment building in America. A tribute to real love, real sacrifice, real value. I hung it in my living room. Month 2, I heard through mutual friends that Vanessa's job was struggling. One of her major clients, someone who'd been at the birthday dinner, had requested a different account manager. Her boss was concerned about her professionalism. Her parents, who'd heard about the dinner, cut her allowance. "We didn't raise you to be cruel," her mother had apparently said. Vanessa had to move to a smaller apartment in a less trendy neighborhood. The story spread through her social circle. She became known as the woman who publicly humiliated her boyfriend. Men she tried to date had heard about it. One actually asked on a first date, "Are you the sorbet girl?" She left in tears. Month 3, she texted me, "You have some things here. When can I drop them off?" It was the first message I'd responded to in months. "Leave them with the building manager at my address." "Can I bring them to you? I'd like to talk." "No, please. Just 5 minutes. There's nothing left to say. Leave my things with the manager." She showed up anyway. My building manager called me. "There's a Vanessa Chun here with a box. I told her to leave it with you. She's asking if I can buzz you. Says she just needs 5 minutes. Tell her no. If she doesn't leave, call building security." She waited in the lobby for 30 minutes. I never came down. I watched from my window as she finally left, carrying the box back to her car, crying. I felt nothing. 4 months after the dinner, my museum renovation project was featured in a public exhibit. My firm was proud. Local architecture magazines were covering it. It was a big deal. The opening was packed. My colleagues, my parents, Sophie and her husband James. People from the industry I respected. I was standing near one of my renderings, talking to a journalist about the design choices, when I saw her. Vanessa. She stood near the entrance, scanning the room. When she spotted me, she froze. I turned back to the journalist and finished my thought. She waited. Eventually, she approached. "Hi," she said. I turned. No emotion on my face. "Vanessa. I saw the exhibit was happening. Your work is beautiful." "Thank you." Awkward pause. "How have you been?" "Good. Busy." "I can see that. This is amazing, Nathan. Really. You should be so proud." "I am. I've been thinking about you." "Okay." She looked frustrated. "That's it. Just okay? What do you want me to say? I don't know. Something. Anything. You were with me for 8 months, and now you look at me like I'm a stranger. Vanessa, you called me a palate cleanser at your birthday dinner. What did you expect would happen? I expected you'd let me apologize. I've tried for months, and I heard you. I read your email. I got your messages. And you just ignored them? Yes. Why? Because an apology doesn't undo what you said. It doesn't change what you actually think of me. I don't think that anymore. I was wrong. I looked at her. Really looked at her. You weren't wrong, Vanessa. You were honest. For the first time in our relationship, you said what you really felt. I'm just sorry it took you getting drunk at your birthday dinner to do it. That's not fair. People say stupid things when they're drunk. Drunk words are sober thoughts. God, everyone keeps saying that. She was crying now. Because it's true. You said I wasn't the end game. That I was temporary. That I'm not the type of guy you end up with. I was trying to impress people who don't matter. But they do matter to you. More than I did. And that's fine. But I'm not going to be with someone who's ashamed of me. I wasn't ashamed. Yes, you were. You seated me at the end of the table. You barely talked to me all night. You compared me to Preston in front of everyone. You told 16 people that I was a placeholder until someone better came along. I know. Her voice broke. I know I did. And I've regretted it every day since. I believe you. Then why won't you give me another chance? Because I don't want one. She looked like I'd slapped her. You don't. No. I spent 8 months trying to be good enough for you. Trying to fit into your world. Trying to impress your friends. And the whole time, you were embarrassed by me. That's not true. You never posted a photo of us. You forgot to invite me to things. You made excuses for why I couldn't meet your parents properly. Every time we were around your friends, you'd introduce me like I was your assistant or something. I'm different now. Maybe you are. But I'm different too. I'm not the guy who'll accept being someone's secret anymore. I'm not the guy who'll wait around hoping to be good enough. You were always good enough. Then you should have treated me like it. She was fully crying now. So that's it. We're just done. We've been done since your birthday. You just didn't realize it because I stopped responding. I love you, she said desperately. I paused. Then, gently. No, you don't. You love the idea of being loved. But you don't love me. If you did, you wouldn't have said those things. You wouldn't have treated me like I was beneath you. I never said you were beneath me. Vanessa, you call me sorbet between real meals. What else would you call that? She had no answer. I hope you find what you're looking for. I really do. But it's not me. Please, I have to get back to my family. Take care of yourself. I walked away. Nathan, she called after me. I kept walking. Sophie saw Vanessa, gave her a cold look, and put her arm around me. I looked back once. Vanessa stood alone in the crowded gallery, watching me laugh with my family. She finally understood. She'd had someone who loved her, and she'd destroyed it for people who never cared. I went back to my parents. My mom touched my arm. Was that her? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. I really am. My dad patted my shoulder. Good man. The exhibit continued. I was present, engaged, celebrating an achievement I was genuinely proud of. Surrounded by people who were proud of me. Not thinking about Vanessa at all. I'd moved on. Not to someone new, but to myself. And that was enough. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.